That was great. Absolutely great. Thank you so much. There's such talent in our music team. We're so grateful and so lucky to have them. And now I'd like to invite Denny to read the daily word and then the power for the month, which is wisdom. Denny, you're muted.
Good morning, everybody. It's so nice to be here, and I love the song. The daily word today is dominion. I claim dominion and direct the course of my life. Woo, I love that. While I may not be able to control what happens in my life, I am always free to determine how I will respond. Through my divine faculty of dominion, I decide what to think, what to say, and how to act. If a thought of fear or powerlessness arises, I remember all the wisdom, understanding, and strength of God are within me. Whether I'm organizing my day or moving forward after making a life-altering decision, the principle of dominion is always mine to claim. Knowing this, I move through life with quiet confidence. I am secure in myself and in the knowledge that I am a divine being. I claim dominion and feel my life expand into a field of limitless possibility and potential. You have given them dominions over the works of your hands. You have put all things under their feet. Psalm 8, verse 6. Wisdom. The power for the month of March is wisdom. The affirmation is, I am guided by divine wisdom in every thought, word, and action. With your mics muted, please affirm with me, I am guided by divine wisdom in every thought, word, and action. I am guided by divine wisdom in every thought, word, and action. Wisdom is the blend of knowledge from the head and heart. The disciple that represents wisdom is James, son of Zebedee. The corresponding color is yellow, and the location is the pit of the stomach. One of the faculties most prized by Jesus was the gift of wisdom or spiritual judgment. Jesus always pointed to the importance of judging by the standards of the higher self, rather than by the examples set in the world. Never did he react to any person or any situation with the expected response of human living. Always he acted and spoke from the light within himself, the light that enabled him to judge by spiritual methods, to answer from divine insight into the motives of others, the potentiality of good, and the revelation of the Christ within. His judgment and his wisdom went far beyond the perception, knowledge, and judgment of even the most learned men of the day, because his faculty of knowing was developed by a conscious acquaintance with Source and a desire to express the wisdom of spirit. He never drew conclusions simply from intellectual knowledge. As we follow Jesus in developing our God-given potential, we too must learn to judge with right judgment and to turn to the inner spiritual knowing. We cannot afford to allow ourselves to be caught up in judging according to appearances, making decisions based simply on intellectual knowledge, or accepting limiting concepts constantly presented to us by the worldly viewpoint. Faith, wisdom, and love must be brought into everything you do. Wisdom without love is cold, but love without wisdom is misguided and impetuous. Wisdom, the highest form of spiritual knowing, includes divine judgment, discrimination, intuition, and other activities of mind that come under the heading of pure knowing. Wisdom is not dependent on reasoning, intellectual understanding, or deduction. It simply shines as a light from within that illumines the way and reveals whatever needs to be shown at a particular time. Our purpose in developing this faculty is to let the light of spirit shine through us, directing all our thoughts, words, actions, and motivations. Wisdom must also be employed in directing the activities and unfoldment of the other 11 qualities. Once again, with your mics muted, please affirm with me, I am guided by divine wisdom in every thought, word, and action. And let's say that together. I am guided by divine wisdom in every thought, word, and action. So be it. Thank you.
Thank you, Denny.
You're welcome.
And now the song to go with the daily word. Sometimes things happen to us and we feel like a victim, but we have dominion to control how we react to those things. So here is I'm a Victimville. Living on ego. Hey, why don't we go blame someone else for all that we do? We can all count down to our next big meltdown. You'll blame it on me and I'll blame it on you. Wasting away again and I'm a victim too. Searching for someone to blame for my strife. Some people claim that there's a devil to blame, but who knows who's in charge of my life? Now ego seduction is my self-destruction. Now I'll admit it sure has its perks. I'll get all defensive, go on the offensive. Then I'll say it's your fault that I'm such a jerk. Wasting away again and I'm a Victimville. Searching for someone to blame for my strife. Some people claim that there's a devil to blame, but I think I'm in charge of my life. If we're made of spirit, then why do I fear it? And why do things always happen to me? If I just let love flow, I might see my love grow. Then I'll see you as an extension of me. Wasting away again and I'm a victim too. Searching for someone to blame for my strife.
Some people claim that there's a devil to blame. Now I know I'm in charge of my life.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. That was great. Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome. So glad to see so many of you here and a few that we haven't seen in a while. So I'm so glad that you could join us today. We're continuing our Lenten series on the 7 living words, an illuminated perspective on the 7 last words of Jesus, written by Unity and New Thought minister Mark Anthony Lord. Now, we're looking at these words metaphysically, which can support us in our own transformation, just as Jesus transformed on Easter. 2 weeks ago, we looked at the first living word, which is forgiveness. You know, it's been said that forgiveness is a gift we give to ourselves because it releases us from the bondage of anger and resentment, which can only occur in the world and our belief in duality. Jesus said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. And Jesus is speaking at the level of truth, the truth being that we are not now, nor have we ever been separate from God. So in truth, there can be no sin, because how can sin exist where there is only love? In the world of duality, however, we perceive right and wrong, good and bad, and so on. We know that we cannot see in others what we do not have within ourselves, so forgiveness begins with us. We forgive ourselves first and then extend that forgiveness to others. Forgiveness truly frees us. Last week, we looked at the second living word, which is now. When Jesus was on the cross, there were 2 men with him, one on his right and one on his left. Luke 23:45 tells us that Jesus said to them, "Today you will be with me in paradise." Now, when we look at that metaphysically, Jesus on the cross represents now, and the 2 men represent, one represents the past, the other one the future. Now, when we're in the midst of the difficulty of transformation, we sometimes retreat to the past or look to the future because being in that moment is difficult. It's painful. But Jesus said to them, "Today you will be with me in paradise." He said today, not tomorrow, next month, or next year, but today. And the word paradise can also mean kingdom of heaven, as it says in Matthew 4:17, that the kingdom of heaven is at hand. So what Jesus is telling us is that paradise, the kingdom of heaven, is available to all of us here, now, and always. And paradise can only be experienced in the now present moment. And so today we're moving on to the third living word, which is oneness. It's recorded in John 19:26 that when Jesus was on the cross, he looked down and saw his mother Mary and his disciple John. And scripture reads, when Jesus saw his mother and the disciple there whom he loved, he said to his mother, "Woman, behold your son." Then he said to the disciple, "Behold your mother." And from that hour, the disciple took her into his home. Now we can look at this a couple of ways. We can interpret it that he was concerned for those he loved. He was concerned for his mother and wanted to make sure she would be taken care of. So he entrusted her to his dear friend, a disciple that supported him throughout his journey. And John was to view her as his mother, and they were to love one another like mother and son. Now, this was an act of giving and receiving and was not meant only for Mary and John. It was for all humankind, that we are all children of God, all disciples of the holy. And we are here to love and care for one another, that we are one family. Now, if we take this a step deeper, we see that Jesus is really pointing to oneness. Jesus in the Course in Miracles says there is no difference between my brother and myself. And that's what Jesus is telling them, that we are all one. There is no separation between us and God and each other. Now, we have to remember that at this time, people lived in tribes, and they identified themselves with their tribes, their family. We still do that. Each of us is unique in our own tribe, and that tribe can be your family or a group you identify with or somewhere that you feel you belong. Within that group, we have an identity. What Jesus is talking about with this statement, behold your son, behold your mother, is that oneness and right relationship occur within each other. He's telling us that even though we are unique in our expression and unique expressions of God, there is only one. And it doesn't matter where we fall in our tribe. It doesn't matter what roles we play, where we fit into society. He's telling us to behold all people as our family, for there is only the one of which we are all part of. We are one with God. So that statement, behold your son, behold your mother, has the ability to shatter the existing culture of hate, separation, us versus them, and forever end the painful, pointless rants about who is and who isn't getting into heaven. The one is here now. Heaven is here now, and every person is included. Again, Jesus in A Course in Miracles said, heaven is not a place or a condition. It is merely an awareness of perfect oneness. Places and conditions can only exist in the world of form. Oneness is perfection, love, bliss. Oneness is timeless, changeless, and constant. That doesn't exist in the world of duality. Perfect oneness is not something that our human family really gets or will ever get. That's because there's a part of us, the ego, that believes itself to be separate and must reinforce that myth, the myth of otherness, for survival. What does get it is the spirit of oneness within each of us. It's within me. It is me. It's within you. It is you. It is everyone. I am a divine creation of God. I am a wonderful, brilliant thought in the mind of God. This is who I am, was, and will always will be. This is true for each and every one of you. This is our supreme, all-encompassing reality. Now, our less than supreme reality is that is founded on fears. And these fears occupy a large chunk in our minds, lots of times. In the less than supreme reality, we have enemies, people and societal groups that don't look like us, think like us, or believe what we believe. We believe there are individuals that don't like us or want us to fail. We believe there are people who would harm us, or people who we would see as in our way. That's not oneness. That's fear. That's fear creating a seductive, alluring, false reality that we think is real, and we react to it. And when we react to it, it makes it seem more real. And then down that rabbit hole of suffering we go. And all the while, this crazy duality experience is taking place, there is, sitting right in the midst of the chaos, the wholeness of God of which we are. That which never went away because it cannot go away. The wholeness of God is here and now. And when we focus our immediate attention or prayers on it, the nightmare of the ego disintegrates. It was never real after all. In our God self, it is safe to see all as one. And not only is it safe, it's true. And it's wonderful. What gets crucified is the illusion of separation, fear, and suffering. The reason we cling to this illusion is because we've created an identity structure around it. And we believe it. We need to believe that identity structure in order for it to survive. And that's what the world's been told since day one. The truth is the illusion or ego needs our belief for it to survive. So the truth in the illusion, which is also our ego, needs us to believe it in order for it to survive. If we didn't believe it, it wouldn't be here. You know, there are some people that say, we need our ego. The ego was good. The ego is another word for this false reality that I just described. But people will say we need our ego. There are parts of it necessary for survival. It keeps us safe. I've also heard if all is God, isn't the ego part of God? And no, the ego is not part of God. The ego is the illusion. And as I said earlier, to believe the ego, the belief in the ego is what keeps it real in this illusion. It looks like there is separation. But we are here to have a resurrection and a revelation that is glorious beyond words. And none of us needs the ego. The God that created us provides and always will provide for us in absolutely every way. God is our safety, our rock, our sustenance, our all. Matthew 6:28-29 says, "And why are you anxious about what to wear? Consider the lilies of the field, how they grow. They toil not, neither do they spin. And yet I say to you that even Solomon in all his glory is not arrayed like one of these." So consider the lilies of the field. I know we're all familiar with that. And yet we don't really consider the true significance of those words. The lilies don't need an ego to know the love and care of God. The only reason we don't know God as our complete, perfect, and constant support is because we don't believe it. It's not something that the ego mind wants to grasp. If we really knew our oneness with God and relied completely on it, everything we need would be given to us. Only fear keeps us from doing that. And the ego keeps us from doing that. Because if we knew it, it would be eliminated in an instant. We need to know that our needs are met exactly to the extent that we allow them to be met. Again, we manifest based on the level of where we are in consciousness. So if we believe, if there's a hidden belief somewhere that we're not worthy or we don't deserve, that's what we're going to manifest, or we're not going to manifest. The thing is, this knowledge, knowing that we can only manifest at the level of where we are in consciousness, is a blessing, because it's telling us that we are responsible for what we see. And we know that this is a blessing because we know we can change our mind. And as we change our mind about that, we change our reality. We have within each of us all that we need to live a powerful, wonderful life. And that's God. Again, Course in Miracles says, you are afraid of God because you fear your brother. I'm sorry. You are afraid of God because you fear, and you fear your brother. This brother who stands beside you still seems to be a stranger. In your brother is the light. See him as sinless, and there can be no fear in you. My sinless brother is my guide to peace. That quote from A Course in Miracles conveys the importance of living the third living word. When we no longer fear or resent or perceive each other as separate, we no longer live and move in fear. There is no way to transform into the full power and presence of the light of God within us and be afraid of others at the same time. We have to make a choice. Time and time again, our world has chosen fear. And this has never proven itself to be a good choice, and it never will. When we all collectively say yes to oneness, the kingdom of heaven will appear right before our eyes. But first, this overinflated collective ego of humanity must be diffused and released. And the only way this collective lie of separation will ever be transformed is through you and me, one person at a time. This is what Jesus showed us. He refused to buy into or support any world system where the fuel of fear and separation generated power. He knew oneness. He only saw oneness. The governmental and religious institutions of his time were threatened by him because he saw right through it all. To Jesus, anything created out of fear and separation was a lie, not even worth entertaining, and certainly no threat to him. He knew that a lie inevitably has no power. And Jesus walked in all power because he was never seduced by false power. He was one with God and knew it about himself and all of us. Now, this morning, I saw something on Facebook that really spoke to this talk. And I'd like to ask Tasha to show that slide. I always say I love it when science supports our spiritual beliefs. And I'll read it to you. If you follow the Nobel Prize Awards at all, you will have noticed that the recent Nobel Prize for Physics was awarded for experiments that confirmed a phenomenon known as quantum entanglement. Quantum entanglement was first discussed by Albert Einstein and his collaborators in 1935, but only now in 2023 is its true importance being recognized and embraced. As renowned philosopher in sciences Rasmus Jacksland has observed, the reality is that there are no individual objects in the universe. Everything is intimately connected with everything else and exists in a state of oneness. I'm going to read that line again. Everything is intimately connected with everything else, and it exists in a state of oneness. Okay, Tasha, you can take it down. Thank you. It exists in a state of oneness. Jesus knew this. We know this deep within us. We just have to be willing to give up the illusion of separation. And again, Jesus said, "Woman, behold your son. Behold your mother." And that's for us. Are we willing to do that? Are we willing to see each other as ourselves, as only the one? So I'm going to invite you now to close your eyes as we move into meditation. And as we go through this meditation, then there will be a point where I'm going to have you repeat words to yourself. And at that time, I'm going to ask Tasha to put the slide on the screen. So in case you forget, you can just open your eyes, glance at it, and then go back into the meditation. So again, I invite you to close your eyes and get comfortable in your seats. Just allow yourselves to breathe. And with each breath you take, you feel more and more relaxed. Just allow yourselves to be in the present moment and be in bliss about this present moment. Do a self check-in and see if there's any part of your body that's holding any stress or tension. And just allow yourselves to focus your breath on that area. Breathe into it. And feel each breath relaxing it more and more, soothing it. And continue to breathe and allow yourselves to breathe at a comfortable pace for you. I know that the wholeness of God is with me and within me every day and is within each person every day. I shatter the illusion of separation and know only truth. So as I move through my day, I silently send blessings to people as I pass them or interact with them. In my heart and mind, I say, you are my sister, you are my brother. We are one and we are loved. Whether I'm stuck in traffic, standing online in a store, going for a walk, or just looking out my window, I free my mind and take the opportunity to be still and bless the world right where I am. So right now, I bring to mind someone I may be having difficulties with. I see us together, surrounded by golden light, and I say, you are my sister, you are my brother, we are one, and we are loved. And with that, the person is absorbed into this light of oneness. And the next person joins me, someone I have a grievance with. I see us together and surrounded by golden light. I look into their eyes and say, you are my sister, you are my brother, we are one and we are loved. This person is free and absorbed by the light into oneness, and I continue. And Tasha, I'm going to invite you to put that slide on the screen. And I invite everyone to continue this process and witness the healing take place within you as you move deeper and deeper into the silence and continue with individuals, with an organization, with anything that comes to mind that either you are fearful of or have a resentment or feel any anger for. And just feel that golden light around you, the two of you, as you look into them and say, you are my sister, you are my brother, we are one and we are loved. And again, if you need to refresh your memory, the words are on the screen. And now I invite you to bring to mind anyone who may be in need of prayer. All those in our personal life, on Silent Unity, on our Unity prayer list, and to the wider circle of the world. We know that they are our sisters and brothers, and that we are all one and we are all loved. And we pray for our world leaders and anyone who is not aware of the truth of our being, not aware that we are all one, not aware that as we do to our brother, we do to ourselves. So we pray for an awakening, an elevation in consciousness, especially in our world leaders and future leaders, so that we work towards a humanity of good, a humanity of peace, a humanity of ever existing and expressing love. And when you're ready, you can bring your consciousness back into your body, back into the room where you are. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. All right, welcome back. And this is the time in our service where we have the opportunity to give. So I invite you to hold your gifts in your hand or visualize your credit card or PayPal or the donate button on our website, however you choose to share. We're so deeply grateful for the generosity of each and every one of us, the generosity of our hearts, of our souls, of our sharing. And we affirm and know that God is our source and God consciousness is our supply. So we infuse these gifts with love, knowing that as we give these gifts, we extend our love out into the world. For as we give, we receive. So we open our arms to accept all the good that is ours. And I invite you to bless these gifts with me. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I choose to give and all that I am open to receive. And I am grateful. And I'd like to invite anyone watching the live stream to just leave a comment. Let us know you're there. We're so grateful that you found us and you can join us. And we'd love to know who you are. And if you're ever interested in joining our service on Zoom, just send an email to unity@unityspiritualcenter.org or send us a message on Facebook and on Instagram. Thank you.